Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Dan Dawson Show. So today I'm going to bring you news you will not see on your local news. And this comes right out of Portland. To put it in perspective, from where I live, Portland's about an hour and a half away. I live in Washington State. It's about 2.5 hours from Seattle. But this is in the AP, the Associated Press. Protesters turned rioters vandalized and broke into Portland's Police Association office on Tuesday night. That's last night. Setting fires at the building and Esquel nearby, police said Wednesday morning, that's this morning. Hundreds of protesters marched to the office building on North Lombard Street near North Campbell Avenue and arrived at approximately 9:45 p.m., at which point police say they blocked all lanes of traffic at the intersection. The FBI, I guess, is now opening up domestic terror charges on these people. So this is what we don't hear. And if you notice, this comes at a time when the president was forced through the left-wing media's constant attack on him to withdraw federal troops. And even that, I'm seeing here in Oregon City, I've seen months of protests, which have recently devolved into riots. They vandalized the federal courthouse again, of course. So basically what the press did for the Oregon citizens was force the president to withdraw his troops so that the Antifa people could move right back in with their BS claims of, oh, they're kidnapping people off the streets and they're not wearing any ID, they're not wearing any patches. I even had one liberal friend post on his Facebook, can you identify these patches? These are the patches they're wearing. 99% of Americans can't identify military patches. No less police patches, no less Homeland Security patches. To me, it's just ridiculous. It's really getting out of hand up here. Matter of fact, me and my partner on the Dan Dawson podcast, Dr. Fax, we're both discussing moving this show out of here, maybe moving Nevada, back to Texas. We've looked at Arizona, but definitely you won't be able to stay here. And you already have so many people saying they're going to leave and move in and go into red states. However, keep this in mind, all you liberal nut jobs. Like I have one friend that moved to Florida and she still has the same liberal mentality that caused her to leave here because she can't afford to live here. The taxes are too high if you're a working person. Don't go to these red states with your same mentality of voting in liberal leaders, because then you're going to have to leave those states too. I was talking with another friend who said he thought that the state of Washington would flip red. It won't. It's going to stay blue. The reason being is because this is like hippie central. It's a stone's throw from San Francisco, and all three places, San Francisco, Portland, Seattle, they're all connected, and they all have the same dumbass mentality. Their mentality is, we're not going to spank our kids. We're not going to discipline our kids. We're going to let them do what they want. You see in Portland how you got the wall of moms? And it was really funny to me because me and Dr. Fax were talking. And we bring it up on our podcast, which will be premiering the week after next according to our contract. But the wall of moms steps in. We're going to protect you. You're going to protect your kids doing wrong and burning down federal buildings, attacking police stations. That says all I need to know about you as a mother. But so let me know what you think on this news that's not being reported, because I've been watching our local news stations all morning. I haven't seen a mention of it, hide nor hair. And it just really struck me as this isn't right. This is not right, you know? And for law-abiding people, it's really very detrimental to us trying to make a living, paying these taxes to keep the city afloat, and then you let these scum come and burn it down. It's really disheartening. A lot of people are moving to the Spokane area on the other side of the state because it's more conservative. Again, when you move from your liberal hellhole to your conservative haven, don't take your dumbass liberal ideas with you. Leave them where they are. So that's all I wanted to mention. Actually, that's not all I wanted to mention on this show, on this program. So we're talking about moving our podcast, maybe moving the show, and just maybe completely moving. Because what we have now, and I said this on my personal Facebook, but you have store owners. There was a store owner, I forget exactly where, they were trying to burn down his business. He's trying to protect it with a large sword. Gets beat horribly. I mean, horribly. If you look at the thing, you would think the person died. I don't have an update on his situation, but he wasn't moving. You hear people screaming, oh my God, and he's down. And people are running up and hitting him with bricks. I won't post the video because it's just honestly too disgusting. Kicking him in the head, kicking him in the face. And my thought is, if you're going to keep doing this, how long until normal citizens start coming out the house with their guns, and when they see you marching, start putting lead in your ass? That wall of moms is not bulletproof. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Even in our police chief in Seattle, Carmen Best, protesters showed up to her neighborhood. Her neighbors came out and blocked them off and brought their rifles out and told them to leave. And you're gonna start seeing a lot more of that. As far as I'm concerned, the only people voting for Biden are those too stupid to change their minds and those dumb enough to think they don't need police. It's released this morning. I did see this on the local news. Shootings are up 30% in Seattle. 73% of those victims are black people. So if black lives really matter to you, you wouldn't defund the police. You would up the funding of the police and put more police in those bad neighborhoods. But you're not going to do that because it doesn't fit your agenda. Because I will say this, I found this out yesterday, and I want everybody watching my show to remember this. Black Lives Matter is a limited liability corporation. They're a business. And their business is to get everybody riled up so they can bring in the money. Last year, I think they made $600 million. I guarantee they'll triple that this year. So keep that in mind. Keep your young kids out the street. And hey, all I can say is protect you, yourself, and your family by whatever means necessary. It's funny because Malcolm X coined that term in the 60s black movement. And I always agreed with that. I always kind of liked Malcolm. I think he spoke a lot of true things. Very intelligent fella. And now it's funny because Black Lives Matter LLC has completely rearranged that saying. So this article is titled, so you can look it up for yourself. You don't have to take my word for it. It's on the Associated Press. It's titled "Rioters Vandalize Set Fire at Portland Police Association Office." So it's by Stephanie Pagones. So look that up for yourself. And once again, as always, God bless. Take care of you and your loved ones. Do what you got to do. Good evening from the Dan Dawson Show.